The mayor of Bisbee, Ken Budge, is so cool. He's a total Renaissance man. He's a fireman. He's a weatherman. He completely rebuilt his 100-year-old house. And I read that if you want to be a Renaissance man, you have to start from the ground up. So that's what I'm doing. But I get the feeling some people think that's weird.
Lunch with the mayor, I'll meet you there. Lunch with the mayor. Lunch with the mayor. I'm talking about John Jive.
Lunch with the Mayor is brought to you by Local First Arizona and Udall-Shumway Counselors at Law.
There's one word people often use to describe Bisbee, Arizona: funky. Mayor Ken Budge has a different word.
You know, eclectic to me is the best way to describe Bisbee. The most eclectic town. Eclectic.
He's not wrong. Here's another word: tasty. Cafe Roca has been a favorite of locals and visitors alike for 31 years. It's owned by husband and wife Sally Holcomb and Rod Cass. And that's where I had lunch with the mayor.
Rod is just one of the best chefs I've ever known, and just does so much for our community. We hold fundraisers here. We do all kinds of things.
Like last year, when a fire claimed 2 historic buildings across the street. Cafe Roca was spared, but most of Main Street had to be shut down.
We were lucky that they let us open our door, but this was the last spot on the main street where you could actually go. So Rod was just like, who needs help? Who needs to be fed?
Rod and Sally are more than restaurateurs. They're community builders. But civic spirit isn't all that Rod and Sally bring to the table.
The food is just beyond belief.
Right away, my belief was put to the test.
This is our Gulf garlic shrimp over lobster ravioli with a saffron basil cream sauce.
I'm gonna dig straight in. Look at that, my gosh.
I'm always so amazed at his sauces that accompany special.
To me, that's the hit of this dish. I mean, shrimp is shrimp, but when you put an amazing sauce on it like that, I mean, this is really elevated. Okay.
As is often the case in Bisbee, the conversation turned back to its history of devastating fires. There were major fires in 1885, 1887, and in 1907, the Chihuahua Hill Fire destroyed 76 homes. In fact, the home Mayor Budge would eventually buy and restore was spared by desperate frontier measures.
They were actually blew houses up with dynamite. They just leveled them and then had knocked the fire down.
That same year, the future home of Cafe Roca was being built downtown.
One of the architects that's really famous in Arizona, especially in the mining towns, and it's Trost.
Henry Trost. He trained in Chicago, which is where you might expect a young architect would learn about pressure-fired bricks.
This particular building, they used that brick.
The next year, 1908, those bricks would be put to the test by Bisbee's worst fire.
This is the building that stopped the fire. Wow. So it's, we like that story.
Unfortunately, it wasn't Bisbee's last. As city halls go, Bisbee's was extremely unique. When it was built in 1909, it was the headquarters of Bisbee's biggest mining company. But when mining disappeared in the mid-70s, the Phelps Dodge Corporation basically gave the building to the city. Over the next almost half-century, it was where city workers, like a younger Ken Budge, helped Bisbee thrive in its post-mining era. 3 years before the City Hall fire, Ken had retired from public service, only to watch his former fellow workers at the city become nomads, moving from rented space to rented space, as plans to rebuild City Hall languished. Then, the good people of Bisbee elected Ken, the former fire captain, as their mayor.
So this is a lamb meatball dish that we're doing. We call it lambundigas.
Lambundigas.
Lambundigas, yeah. And it's served over pearl couscous, some chickpeas, and some lentils. There's a little bit of a red curry coconut sauce in there. Yeah, so enjoy, guys.
Oh my gosh.
You know, a lot of people don't like lamb, but when you put it into a meatball like this and put the proper sauce to it, it's just great.
Oh my gosh.
Lamb bundagas for the win. And for our third entree,
So this next dish is a potato gnocchi dish, and then the sauce we do with it is a chipotle cream sauce, and chipotles are smoked jalapenos, and so they've got some heat going on. Roasted butternut squash, some cauliflower, and some Brussels sprouts.
This is one of your vegetarian dishes.
This is one of the vegetarian dishes.
Yeah.
It's,
I don't know why I laughed, because I found religion real quick.
I could be persuaded to be a vegetarian if this is what you're up against. Man, there's a reason, people beat a path to Bisbee to come and visit this restaurant.
Well, now come on, there's other things. But
Yes, there is.
I'm just kidding.
But he's right. Cafe Roca is just one of many great reasons to come to Bisbee.
We have some 30 events throughout the year here in Bisbee.
Festivals.
Yeah, blues festivals. We have Pirates Weekend. We have a motorcycle
Wait.
weekend. We go on and on and on.
You didn't say Pirates Weekend.
Yes, Pirates Weekend. There's a Pirates Weekend.
Wow.
We have the soiled bed race.
The soil. Oh, I don't think I want to know about the soil. Do I want to know about the soiled bed race?
Back in the days, the old metal bed with on wheels, and we'll push it down the gulch and see who wins. We have what's called the BRATS.
That's the Bisbee Rolling Arts Transportation Society.
People work all year to make carts. They don't have motors or anything. They start up at the top of the hill. Some are made like a pencil.
Some like a shark or a library book. Of course, you've got your Swiss Army knife. You never know what's coming down the hill next. In March, Bisbee celebrates the return of the turkey vultures. And of course, they dress up like turkey vultures and act like turkey vultures. And every year, Bisbee hosts a vintage baseball tournament at Warren Park, the longest continuously used baseball park in the United States. And yes, they too wear costumes. Then there's Bisbee's most historic attraction, the Copper Queen Mine.
You get to get on a little cart and put on a hard hat and light and go over 1,000 feet into the mine to show you how things were mined back in the day. That's open 7 days a week.
It's a great piece of history, including the gift shop.
Everybody goes in, gets a tag. And so when you go into a mine, you take your tag off of the board and you wear it, pin it to your, and so when you come out, you put it back on so they know if anybody's left inside or there's a problem.
I went into a few city council meetings where I probably should have been wearing a tag. Bisbee is doing a great job of telling its history to the world.
The Arizona Parks Commission, who is the historic overseers, think we're the best preserved town in Arizona.
I have to agree with them. This is historic preservation and celebrating, a 19th century town in Arizona on a level that I haven't seen before.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Now we got beef.
This is Zinfandel braised short rib. Cooks for, probably about 18 hours.
I think just about anything marinating in Zinfandel for 18 hours is going to be pretty cooked. It was fantastic.
Tell us about is it the 1,000 step?
Yeah, it's called the Great Stair Climb or the Bisbee 1000. Basically a 10K that's really 5K, but we call it a 10 because there's 1,000 stairs in the middle of it.
You've got me already. If I can get a 10K t-shirt having run a 5K, I'm there.
Yeah, but you also have to climb 1,000 stairs.
That's a lot of stairs. Speaking of which, you know that popular mail delivery motto? Neither rain, nor snow, nor sleet, nor hail shall keep the postman from their appointed rounds. Notice the one thing they don't mention? 1,000 stairs. That's why there's no mail delivery in Bisbee. which means its citizens engage in the quaint practice of coming to the post office every day. After that, they might go upstairs to the library, which was here 30 years before Arizona even became a state. Most of the fixtures and furniture are more than a century old, repaired and maintained by volunteers. And look at that, 2019's Best Small Library in America, and the 2024 National Medal for Museum and Library Science. It's bursting with innovation, like a seed library available to everyone. And the view from the reading balcony is breathtaking.
And that's just the way we are here. And we kind of live on the hillside. There's a lot of European look, feel here that
There is.
The streets rise and roll away like they do in the countrysides of Italy or France. And then there are shops like this, Patisserie Jacques, nominated for a coveted James Beard Award. She serves up stuff like this, and this thing, and this. And there's Jackie herself. Ooh, there's a chocolate croissant. And there's me going in for another bite. Bisbee.
Spicy Italian sausage,
For those of you keeping track, this is our 5th entree.
and we do it with kind of our signature Roca red sauce and fresh basil. There's some Parmesan cheese on there.
this is my wife's favorite.
Okay.
This is the one we always take home and have a second night.
The spicy sausage is great, but the thing that is blowing my mind is the taste in these tomatoes.
I wasn't emotionally ready to part with that entree. Oh, spicy sausage, we barely knew ye.
This is another one of the vegetarian dishes we do. It's an artichoke and portobello mushroom lasagna.
Oh my gosh.
Some Parmesan cheese in there. There's some wilted greens, the white garlic cream sauce, and then we've got the Roca red sauce.
I'm glad you cut it down the middle because otherwise
Yeah.
we could get into
A battle here.
Having avoided hand-to-hand combat, I decided to ask the big question. Why? Why did Ken decide to run for mayor?
All right, it is a bit of a story, but
I've got the time. I got to eat a whole lasagna here.
I actually wasn't joking. This is the classic move we all used in high school. Get the teacher monologuing so there's no time for his quiz. In this case, get the mayor monologuing so you can eat the whole lasagna. Same concept. And if I may say, perfectly executed. It was a great story. I was fed body and soul.
when I was in Utah, I became one of the chief lobbyists for the firefighters. Got pretty well known at the Capitol, and then one of them convinced me that I needed to run for a legislative seat as a Democrat in Utah.
Which means you lost?
Which means I lost, but I only lost by 4%.
Wow.
It's 48-52. But the person I ran against became Speaker of the House. And I thought, well, that's the end of my career now. But actually, he brought me in and said, you ran the best campaign anybody ever has against me, and you did it fairly. And if I can help you, let me know. And I got more done after that. So I started learning about politics. It's being honest, being forthright, and doing a good job, and being a service. That's where my love was.
So being a firefighter gave Ken a love of service, but his love of Bisbee came from an unexpected angle.
As a firefighter, what did we do? We watched a lot of TV, and okay, I had a show that I said I had to watch every time, which was This Old House. So I started learning all about this old houses.
And you said, I can do that.
I could do that. So I learned plumbing. I learned electrical.
But as he's remodeling, something is nagging at him.
How do I serve again? I can't just be somebody to remodel. And so I got on what we called our DRB, which is the Design and Review Board, which is the historic commission here. Then the town started becoming very important to me and to preserve it. And I served on that for several years. And then I moved up to a council person and was that for 7 years.
Ken was back in the service game, and there were things he wanted to do.
I wanted to get us a city hall again. I wanted to get us out of debt. I wanted to do several important things. And so I ran for mayor, and this will be my third term. I'm in my third term right now.
I need to interrupt the mayor because when someone to me says, vegetarian lasagna, I kind of go, oh, that's too bad, because it could have been really good, right? But that was maybe one of the best lasagnas I've ever had because it was better than a meat lasagna.
After 6 entrees, I regretted hoarding the vegetarian lasagna. At least I thought I did, until Rod put a dessert plate down in front of me.
My gosh.
Everything's made in-house. Flourless chocolate cakes, a 3-nut tart, vanilla cheesecake with a sour cherry compote.
After those incredible desserts, the only thing that kept me from curling up under the table was Ken's story about rebuilding City Hall. The only part of the building that survived the 2017 fire was the large portico entrance. That was enough for Ken.
I brought back an architect that lived here.
That would be Albert Hopper, by all accounts a true original. Wildly creative and an organizer of an annual cycling event in Bisbee.
He completely designed the whole new city hall based on parts of the old one.
Soon, a new city hall would rise out of the footprint of the old. Tragically, just weeks before construction was to begin, Al Hopper died in a cycling accident.
So we're going to be dedicating our city hall to him, to Al Hopper.
Returning to City Hall is a great chapter in Bisbee's story. It started almost 150 years ago with a boom.
As a mining town, we were the king of the copper camps. It was when America was electrifying. When electricity came about, they needed a ton of copper.
You need copper wire.
And boy, I'll tell you, this is where a lot of it came from.
Then came the bust. In 1975, the Phelps Dodge Corporation closed its mining operation.
People were leaving town because they didn't have the work.
You and I were talking earlier about how Bisbee has gone through some cycles.
Absolutely.
Like in the 70s, where a lot of other Arizona towns were tearing down all their buildings and building new strip malls. And thankfully, Bisbee was kind of spared from that because it was off the beaten path, right? There weren't a lot of people coming here except for the hippies.
Which was my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, moved here in 1972. And so I've been visiting here early on. As I got closer to retirement, she said, why don't you retire here? And that house came available, and so.
Did you fall in love with the house, or did you fall in love with the town?
Both, he says, but also something that would become one of Ken's great passion.
Mayor, tell us about your weather station.
Well, I've had that since 2007 because I think we're the best weather actually in the United States.
That's a bold claim, one that Ken has the zeal and the data to back up.
In the winter, we're warmer than the lower elevations because during the day they heat up and then the warm air rises and comes to us. But in the summer, our mile-high elevation keeps us cooler. And I've recorded the weather now ever since 2007. On that period, we've only hit 100 degrees 5 times.
I might need to talk to either the governor or people at the legislature. We might have to strip Arizona off the name of your city if you've only get 5 days of 100-degree heat.
When I talk about Ken Budge as a Renaissance man, being an amateur meteorologist is only the tip of the iceberg. To get a real sense of his wide-ranging skills, you gotta see his house.
Your gate is obviously the frame of a single bed.
Yes, that's my lettuce.
Ah.
I grow lettuce and greens in the winter. Fresh lettuce, all organic material.
Come to Bisbee for the lettuce. I love it.
The doors were all rotted out, and so I actually had these handmade. I have 7 outside doors on this house. This one has the bullet hole in it. There's a bullet hole here, still had the copper around the outside of the jacket.
Is that a modern bullet aimed at the mayor, or was that historic?
No, somebody shot the poor mesquite tree.
Oh, I see.
But you were thinking the same thing, right?
What's this little...
Well, we don't know exactly what this was. It's just a little building, didn't have a roof on it when I bought it.
Oh.
My wife is half Finnish.
Well, okay, Mayor, we're all a work in progress.
Her mother was full Finnish.
Never mind.
So you know what the Finnish need, right?
Reindeer jerky?
It's a sauna.
Or a sauna.
Step inside and smell the cedar.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a single nail hole or screw that you can sit on and get hot at. So then I built an outdoor shower.
Naturally.
I mean, if you're gonna come out all sweaty and you don't want to go dragging in the house, you have to have a shower to rinse off.
You see that look on my face? That's a frozen gaze of confusion. But in my mind, I'm sending these kinds of vibes.
So how do I do that without having knobs on and off, on and off? So back in my mechanical room, I have an electric solenoid and a mixing valve, so I can set the temperature what I want, and I just flip that, and I have a shower.
But sometimes the truth just spills out.
I didn't understand what you just said.
As you're about to see, Ken's favorite TV show really prepared him to restore this old house.
This home was originally constructed when?
1906, followed by a name of Batiste Corretto. He was one of the builders of that Pythian, the big green, with the big green spire. His name's on the front of it. He used good Italian masons. That's why this house survived. It had a decent foundation under it. But there was a lot of issues, of course, after 100 years of neglect. And so I've torn up all the floors, and we poured new concrete under different areas to stabilize everything. And then I laid all the new hardwood and laid all the tile myself.
How much of this work did you do yourself, and how much did you?
89%.
Listening to Ken for a while, you start to feel like a caveman.
These are lights I actually got off eBay and rebuilt myself. This used to be the kitchen, actually.
Yeah.
I took a wall out here. I had to take down some of the outside walls that were weak. Most of the artwork that we have in here is all local. This is the local painter. So I built it's a cedar lined closet. I do all my own tile work. That's an old tub. I completely polished it all, painted it. Upstairs used to be 4 bedrooms. I turned it into 2. I hand laid all this. You take out 2 screws and this whole thing lifts up and goes away. And I want you to take a gander at my orchid.
That's alive?
Yes.
Are you serious?
See what I mean? Fireman, paramedic, weatherman, gardener, contractor, electrician, plumber, art collector. And oh yeah, mayor of Arizona's most charming historic town. Bisbee, we've sat here, I look out the window, it's a bustling place. It's very, very popular.
Yeah. Some people claim to me and say, oh, Mayor, they're just, it's too noisy, there's too many people, I can't find parking. And I just go back and say, I would rather live in a happy town, something that's going on and is busy and happy versus a dead town. There's a lot of dead towns in the world, and I'm bound and determined to keep this one lively. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else.
You wouldn't want a good mayor to feel any other way. You just can't keep Bisbee down. For all the times it's been ravaged, the people here have stood their ground, whether it's with dynamite, fire-pressured bricks, or trucks, ladders, and hoses. They just don't give up. And even today, when fire drives people out, there's always someone to feed those who need it. And so here we are again today, revived once more. Maybe Bisbee's only in the middle of its renaissance, but somehow this moment feels like a crowning event. Copper may have built this town, but the souls that remain are made of their own kind of metal. And when it comes to things like metallurgy, or even science and literature, I would know. Until next time, adieu.
Lunch with the mayor, I'll meet you there. Lunch with the mayor. Lunch with the mayor. I'm talking about John Jive.